this event today will have a chance to come back and watch it. So now at this time, please mute your mics for the best sound experience. Otherwise, the feedback could interfere with the information we will be sharing today. Without further ado, here is Ms. Luz Cadena.
Thank you. And hello, everyone. I wanted to start by sharing my camera just to say hello and so that you can see that there's a real person on the other end. Thank you for that lovely introduction. Again, my name is Luz Cadena. I am the Director of Distance Learning Support Services here at EPCC. We're located at the Valle Verde campus, but because we have a virtual office, you can access our services from anywhere. And so today, this afternoon, I've been invited to share with you our Learning with Blackboard at EPCC Student Handbook for Fall 2023. And I'll be sharing it on the screen in just a moment. A reminder that you can access this handbook in Blackboard. All you have to do is log into Blackboard, and on the menu on the left-hand side, click where it says Assist. That's the Blackboard Assist page. It's a place where there's lots of links for resources for you. And right there, you'll be able to find the handbook, and that's where we put it every semester. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and turn off my camera. I'm going to share my screen so I can share the handbook with you. Okay. All right, so let me share my screen here. Should pop up for you in just a moment. There it is. So this is what our handbook looks like for fall 2023. We've been creating or producing rather these handbooks for a couple of years now. The handbook started off as a one-page, document of information during the summer of 2020. Seems like a long time ago, right? During the pandemic. And every semester we've added more to it so we can share more information with students. And it eventually evolved into what we call a handbook. Now, at the very beginning, we used to call it a Learning Online at EPCC, but we realized that many students use Blackboard even for their face-to-face classes, and many students are taking hybrid classes. So we just made it more general, saying Learning with Blackboard. So whether you're taking an online course, a hybrid course, or a face-to-face course, and your instructor uses Blackboard, this handbook is going to be helpful to you. Okay, so every semester we change the cover picture, and of course we name it by the semester, and we do create the handbook for every semester, fall, spring, and summer. So this is, again, the cover for fall of 2023. Now, the first couple of pages of the handbook is the table of contents. So it allows you to see everything that's in the handbook, and the table of contents is interactive, which means you can scan the table of contents and find what you're looking for. So let's say you have or have questions about EPCC email. You can find it here on the table of contents and simply click on it. It'll take you directly to that page where we have information about email. So you don't necessarily have to be scanning the entire document and scrolling, looking for what you need. You simply find it here on the table of contents, you click on it, and it takes you exactly there. Okay, so what I want to do is go through the handbook and focus on a few really important things so that you can see what's in the handbook if you've never looked at it before. And then again, to see if maybe if you have any questions as we proceed. By all means, as I'm speaking, if you have any questions, pop them into the chat. I'll keep an eye on the chat because sometimes it's better to answer those questions when we're talking about that particular topic so that you don't forget it. Okay, I'm happy to answer your questions. So let's go ahead and keep talking about the handbook here. So that's the table of contents. There's just a little page that's welcoming you to EPCC or welcoming you back if you are a returning student. And then the first thing we always talk about on the first page of content is about the courses for that semester. So it'll say about fall courses, about spring courses, or about summer courses. We give you start and end dates for the semester. Now the semester is typically 16 weeks long, but remember we have different what we call parts of term. We have 8-week classes, 16-week classes. There are some courses that are 5 weeks, 7 weeks, even 2 weeks. So there are different parts of term at the college. So it's really important that you always log into your web banner, your self-service banner, and check the start and end dates of your courses. Because something we've experienced quite a bit here at distance learning is the first week of class, students calling us and saying, I need some help. My history class isn't showing in Blackboard. And we ask students, did you check in Banner, first of all, to make sure you're registered for that class? Yes, I'm registered. Okay. Did you check the start date for your course? And of course, students will say, yes, I checked the start date. It's supposed to start August 28th. Well, we look at the course and it's actually a mini-semester 2 course that starts in October, or it's a winter semester course that starts in December. So always check your dates, especially when you're registering for courses. Sometimes students don't realize that they're registering for an 8-week course or a 5-week course. So pay attention to the start and the end dates of your courses. Okay. We provided you a little bit of a calendar here with the start and end dates of most of the general terms here at EPCC. But again, remember there are different parts of term. Okay. And of course, excuse me for that, the very important drop date. If for some reason you're going to drop a course, always speak to a counselor first. Make sure you understand how it's going to impact your financial aid, and then make sure you drop by the deadline. By the way, today is the deadline for dropping an 8-week course if you need to drop a course. So make sure before you drop a course, you understand the consequences of dropping a course. But of course, always speak to your instructor first to see if there's anything you can do to catch up or to improve your grade. Your instructors are always the first individuals you should speak with. Okay. We also share with you some of the important holidays or days off, if you will, during the fall semester. So we've already celebrated the Labor Day holiday, but November 10th, it's a Friday, we're observing Veterans Day. November 23rd to the 24th is the Thanksgiving holiday. And of course, our 2-week Christmas break. For most of us here at EPCC, faculty and students tend to get a little bit more time, but for us here at EPCC, we do close for 2 weeks during the winter break. Okay. The next section talks about your online tools. Make sure you're familiar with the EPCC website. There's a lot of great resources that you can find. If you're looking for a phone number, a link for a virtual office, go into the website, go to that search bar and type it in. If you want information about tutoring, type in the word tutoring, it'll take you to their webpage. So just about every department here at EPCC has a webpage with contact information, a fax number, an email, and of course a phone number. So always go to that website to look for some of that information. Our internal college portal is the EPCC portal, the My EPCC portal. Visiting or logging into My EPCC allows you to access your email, allows you to access Blackboard, self-service banner, look at the calendar, look at announcements, and all these really, really great things. And so logging into My EPCC, not just to access Blackboard, but take a look at all the resources on My EPCC. They're going to be very, very helpful to you. Okay. And of course, self-service banner. Some of you maybe have never logged in to self-service banner. Self-service banner is the official record keeping system of the college. It's also a place where you can check on financial aid. You can check on your registration. You can register for courses. You can check contact information, update phone numbers, update emails, all that good stuff. So if you don't know how to access Web Banner, just simply click on My EPCC and log in with your EPCC credentials. If for some reason you need help with logging into Banner, of course, you can always contact the IT department. But notice on Banner, you can print your schedule, you can look at courses, drop classes, register. You can, again, look at your financial aid information, view an unofficial copy of your transcript, and even any holds that you may have here at EPCC. Okay? Email. Your EPCC email is important. I know a lot of young adults don't like working with email, and we like working with text. I get it. I'm a big texter too, despite my age. But once you join the professional world, email is going to be so important. That's how you communicate. Ask your instructors, ask any staff here at EPCC, and we communicate a lot via email. Email is an official form of communication here at EPCC. It's in our policy and procedure here at the college. And each of you has an EPCC email. I encourage you to check it regularly. Maybe not every day. It would be great if you checked it every day, but check it regularly, at least a couple of times a week. You're going to get really important information from the college about financial aid and registration, when it's time to graduate, all those really good things. You'll get probably community announcements about events that are happening at college. Distance learning, we communicate through EPCC email. Also, we send important announcements or information you need to know. But one of the other really important things about your email at EPCC is that you also get submission receipts. So whenever in Blackboard you submit an assignment or you submit a test in Blackboard, you're going to get a copy of a receipt in your EPCC email. That receipt is evidence that you submitted your assignment. So if for some reason your instructor says, I didn't get your assignment, you have a copy of that receipt in your email and you can show it to them. It shows the course you submitted the assignment or the test for, the name of the course, the date, the time. It also gives you the size of your file. So if you attached a file as part of your assignment, it'll show the size of the file. If it says 0, that the size of the file is 0, that means you didn't attach anything. So you can't lie when it comes to Blackboard. Blackboard tracks a lot of these things. So if you fail to attach an assignment, even though you hit that submit button, if it says 0, that is evidence that you did not attach anything. Blackboard doesn't lie about those things. So, be very careful with those submission receipts because the information it provides is accurate. But always keep those submission receipts until the course is over. Once that course is over, then you can go ahead and delete those receipts. But don't delete them while you're still in the course. Okay? Now, through My EPCC, you also have access to Office 365, which means you have free access to PowerPoint and Word and all those applications. So if you go out and buy yourself a new computer, don't worry about buying all the Microsoft products. You get them for free at EPCC. There's a little button on My EPCC that lets you download and install them. There's a link on the guide there. And of course, if you need help with that, call the IT department at 6440. Okay. Through the EPCC website, you can also look up the contact information for anyone at EPCC. So let's say, for example, registration for spring is going to start soon. And you see a class that you want to take, but you want some more information. And you see that Sarela Aguilar is the instructor for that course. But you want to ask Ms. Aguilar some questions. You can go type in her name in the EPCC directory. You'll find her email and her phone number here at EPCC. Now, the instructor doesn't have a phone number. It's probably because, or more than likely because they're a part-time instructor. Part-time instructors don't have offices. And so you can't call them, but you can at least get their email and send them an email asking about questions about, for that arts class, what kind of supplies are you going to need? Maybe you want to start getting your book early or get an idea of what it might cost. So you want information about the book. So lots of great information that you can get from the EPCC website. Okay. A reminder, most already know this, that you can check out devices from EPCC. If you don't have a computer or maybe your laptop's a little too old and you need something more modern with more capabilities to work on your classes from, you can always check out a device. You can visit any ACS lab on any campus and ask about checking out a device. It might be best if you call them first to make sure they have devices available. You can find the phone numbers for all the ACS labs at every campus on the website. Okay. Multi-factor authentication, that if you haven't had to do this yet, it is coming soon, eventually. The IT department is rolling out this, this process so that we can confirm our identities when we log into college resources. And that's so that we can avoid things like hackers and all those kinds of things. Many of you may be familiar with multi-factor authentication. When you're trying to log into something, they send you a code on your text. It's the same thing. And so if you haven't had to do this yet, you will eventually have to do this. And if you need help with it, it's important for you to contact the IT department. Okay? And so that takes us to Blackboard. So distance learning, we are the department that handles Blackboard. I want to make sure that everyone understands that the distance learning department is not an IT department. We are not part of IT. IT is a separate department. Distance learning is actually an instructional department. Even though we deal with technologies, the technology we deal with is very specific, and it really is just Blackboard. All we deal with is Blackboard. And I'll show you at the very end of the handbook a little table that you can look at when you want to know who to call when you need assistance. Okay, but of course, Blackboard is the LMS, the learning management system that we use for teaching and learning here at EPCC. All of you, of course, the moment you become a student, you have access to Blackboard so that you can access your courses. Now, make sure that the device that you're accessing your courses from, especially your computers and laptops, have the most recent operating system. We have run into a few issues with students and even faculty who are having issues with Blackboard, and we see that their operating systems are not updated. So make sure that when your computer asks you to install updates, that you do install those updates, because it's going to help your computer work with Blackboard even better. So whether you're using a Chromebook, a PC computer, or a Mac computer with an iOS interface, make sure that you always keep your devices up to date. Okay. If you need assistance with a device that was checked out to you by the college, it's important that you talk to the IT department. If you're a dual credit student and you're using a device that was given to you or lent to you by your school or by your school district, it's important that you contact your school district or your school computer lab or IT department so they can help you with that device. Okay? And as always, an internet connection is important. A strong internet connection is important, especially when you're taking tests. You don't want to be kicked out when you're taking in the middle of a test. So it's really important, especially when you're taking tests, make sure you sit as close to the router as possible. And if anyone else at home is using the Wi-Fi, please ask them to log off of their Wi-Fi for just a little while so they can give you a little bit more juice, a little bit more power so that you can take your test. So tell your little brothers and sisters or cousins, whoever who's watching, Disney Plus, to log off for a little while, or whoever's watching, Netflix, those kinds of things, or streaming YouTube videos. Ask them to stop doing it for just a little while so they can give you a little bit more capabilities. Okay. Browsers. The only thing I really want to say about browsers, two things rather, is because Blackboard is a web application, you can access it using any browser. But it's also important to clear your browser history every so often. So sometimes our browsers get junky with all that stuff after we've been, searching the web for months and months and months. And if we don't clean it out, it makes the browser slow down and not work as well as it should. And it might make things in Blackboard, a little wonky, if you will. So clear out your browser history every so often. If you don't know how to do that, please click this link here on the handbook. It'll take you to a document that shows you step by step on how to clear your browser history on all the browsers: Safari, Chrome, Edge, and Firefox. Okay. Let me check the chat, see if there's no questions so far. I speak very quickly and I have a lot to cover, so if you need me to slow down, please let me know. Okay. So how do you access Blackboard? I think all of you are familiar with that. I'm going to go ahead and skip that part because we are about, almost 4 weeks into the semester. So access Blackboard from My EPCC. One thing I do want to say about accessing Blackboard is we access Blackboard through the My EPCC portal. Sometimes the My EPCC portal goes down. Doesn't mean that Blackboard's down, but the portal is down. And so you can think of the portal as the gateway into Blackboard. Just because the gate is locked doesn't mean there's nothing happening on the inside. And that happened a couple of weeks ago. IT had some technical issues and the gate to log into Blackboard got locked for a little while. So if Blackboard goes down for some reason, we will always reach out to you. That hasn't happened in quite a long time. So if you think Blackboard is down, try accessing My EPCC. If you can't access My EPCC, you know that that gate is down. There's something going on there, and that IT is working on it as quickly as possible. Okay. Oops. Click here. So when you first log into Blackboard, you see something called the Blackboard base navigation menu. That's that menu when you first log into Blackboard. Just very quickly, at the top of the menu, you have something called the institution page. There's some resources there for you, like how to use UJA and some other helpful resources. So take a look at that institution page. On your profile page, you can add a picture to your profile. First things I want to say about that is your profile is not a profile like an Instagram or Facebook or anything like that. It's not a public facing profile page. The only person who can see your profile page is you. So it's not social media, okay? So you are the only one who can see your profile page. But you can upload a profile picture. Make sure it's a nice professional type picture. I'm not saying you have to go to glamour shots to get a professional picture, but a headshot from your shoulders to the top of your head, a nice picture with a simple background is best, right? Something you would put on a professional website, almost like LinkedIn. Again, it doesn't have to be anything fancy, just a nice headshot. But on your profile page, you can also add your pronouns, whatever your chosen pronouns are. You can also add an alternative name if you want to go by a nickname. So, for example, if Alejandro wants to go by Alex, Isabella wants to go by Isa, you can put that in your profile, and your instructor and your classmates will see that in your course, and that you can be called by the name you prefer to be called. Okay. Your activity stream, always check it for announcements. We post important announcements there, activities that are happening at the college. Every week we post the Tejano virtual event that's taking place that week. We post it as a PDF so that you can click on the link. So if you see links on your activity stream, just click the link and it'll open the document. And we only do that if there's clickable things on the document, because we want you to be able to access those clickable links, okay? Then you have your courses page or organizations, your global calendar where you can see all the due dates for all your courses. You can access your course messages on that messages link. You can see your grades on the grades link. And of course, that assist page that has a lot of wonderful resources for you, links to tutoring, to counseling, financial aid, the Tejano Mercado, and lots of other resources for you. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and skip this part. You all know how to access your courses by now. I want to stress with you that if for some reason your courses don't show on Blackboard, the first thing you always want to do is check Banner. So let me clarify that Blackboard doesn't do anything by itself. Blackboard only does what Banner tells it to do. So 3 times a day at 7 in the morning, at 3 in the afternoon, and at 7 in the evening, Banner sends new information to Blackboard 3 times a day. Okay, so if something's not right in Blackboard, we have to check first to see if it's right in Banner. So if you registered for a new course at 9 in the morning, Banner is not going to send that information to Blackboard until 3 in the afternoon. So your course won't show up in Blackboard until 3. If you register for a course at 4:30, it's not going to show up in Blackboard until 7 in the evening, because that's when the next data run is. If you register for a class at 9:15 at night, the next data run is at 7 o'clock in the morning the next day. That's when your course will show up in Blackboard. So keep that in mind. So if you say my course is not in Blackboard and you go to Banner and it's not in Banner, that's when you need to go speak to a counselor or someone at the registrar's office, because the course you thought you were registered for, maybe it was canceled, maybe you were dropped from the course for whatever reason, those kinds of things. At distance learning, we can't tell you why that course isn't showing up for you anymore, because we don't have access to your registration. We don't, that stuff is kind of private, it's protected. Only certain people at the college can check those things. And so we can tell you it's not in Blackboard, but we can't tell you why. So check your Banner again. Your Banner is your official record of registration, okay? If you are a dual credit student, make sure you check with your dual credit contact. It's probably a counselor or a vice principal, someone on your campus who's your person who's in charge of dual credit, and they can check those Banner rosters for you. Okay, so we are in Blackboard Ultra. It's this new version of Blackboard. I've heard from students that they like it, that it's easier to work with. It's much more modern looking. And of course, if you log into the Blackboard app, it looks exactly the same. So I hope that you're enjoying this new version of Blackboard. Every class at EPCC is on Ultra now. Now, if you're not very familiar with Ultra, there is a Blackboard tutorial that we can enroll you in. And you don't have to do it. It's not for a grade, but you can be enrolled in it. And if you ever need some help, you can always go to that tutorial. Okay, so all you have to do is email us at dlss@epcc.edu and say, could you please enroll me in that tutorial, and we will enroll you. You might be enrolled already. All you have to do is log into Blackboard. On the menu on the left, click on organizations and see if you see this organization there on your list. It'll say EPCC Blackboard Student Tutorial, Blackboard Ultra, excuse me, Student Tutorial, and you're in. Again, it's just for you to kind of poke around. There's some practice activities that you can do. It's not for a grade. You don't have to do it. It's a resource available to you when you need it. Okay? Now, using the raise your hand button on the screen, how many of you use the Blackboard app? I use it. I have it on my phone. I'm going to use my raise the hand button. Yeah, hopefully all of you have the app on your phone. It's a perfect. Thank you. Thank you for raising your hand, Kevin. So the app is a free download. Thank you. There we go. Jasmine raised her hand too, and so did Stephanie. Thank you. Thank you all. Alexis has it too. Jose has it. Perfect. Thank you all. So the app is a free download. If you find something that wants to charge you, don't download it. It's not the right app. And this is what the little tile will look like on your phone. And from the app, you log into Blackboard just like you do on your computer, and you can access your courses, access your grades. You can even do some work on your phone. And I know many of you are probably used to submitting things on your phone. I wouldn't recommend submitting like research papers on the phone, but you can certainly take a little quiz or do a discussion board, things like that on the phone. So what I want to say is don't rely on your phone to do all your coursework. It really is more comfortable working off of a laptop or a computer. Your phone is there for little quick emergencies or to check on your grades, things like that. But try not to rely on your phone to do all your coursework, okay? In your classes, your instructors may be using Class Collaborate with you. Collaborate is the tool that we're using right now. It's a web conferencing tool. It's like, FaceTime and those kinds of apps. Your instructors might hold virtual office hours or meetings or, midterm review sessions, those kinds of things. Many departments are also using Collaborate, like tutoring uses Collaborate for online tutoring, registration, and counselors. So it's a tool you're probably very familiar with and have seen a lot. And of course, you'll be using it in your class. Your instructor will put instructions in your class if you'll be using it. Now, one of the new tools that we have at EPCC is something called UJA. UJA is an application that allows your instructors to create videos for you. And some of those videos might have quizzes where the video pauses and you have to answer a question for a grade. So you might see some video quizzes in your class, but you can also use UJA to record videos. So let's say your speech class, it's an online speech class, and you're required to record yourself giving a speech and post it in the class. You can also use UJA to submit your assignments, your video assignments. If you want to learn how to do that, again, get access to this handbook and click on this link right here. It'll take you to a video about how to use UJA in your classes. There's also resources for you on the Blackboard Institution page. Okay. Let's keep going here. So Respondus Lockdown Browser. I know many of you don't like using Respondus Lockdown Browser. I'm sure you don't feel comfortable taking a test on a computer screen, but it really helps to keep a level playing field. It's not about catching cheaters, right? It's about making sure that everything is fair. If you studied and put time in to study and are ready to take your test, we want to make sure that everyone's doing the same thing, right? So it's about keeping a level playing field. So remember that you have to download Respondus Lockdown Browser from EPCC. You can't just Google Lockdown Browser because you might download the Lockdown Browser for another college or another university. It has to be the one from EPCC. Now, the great thing about Blackboard Learn Ultra is that when the first time you take a test in Blackboard Learn Ultra, it gives you the link right there to download it. So you can download it from there install it into your computer, and then take your test using Lockdown Browser or Lockdown Browser and Monitor. If you want more information about using Lockdown Browser and Monitor, we did create a Respondus Lockdown Browser and Monitor guide for students. It tells you what it is, why it's important, how to download and install it on different kinds of devices, PC, Mac, iPad, Chromebook, and even how to take a test on all these kinds of devices. Now in Ultra, it's so much easier to take a test on Lockdown Browser because all you have to do is start your test and Respondus will auto launch. It'll launch by itself and then you can just proceed with taking your test. If you have to use Lockdown Browser and Monitor for your tests, this is where a strong internet connection is very important, because for the computer to launch your test and to use the camera requires more bandwidth, requires more power. And that's why it's important that you make sure people at home are not using the Wi-Fi so that you have enough bandwidth for you to take your test using that camera. Okay, and if you don't have webcams, you can check them out from the college, or contact me here at Distance Learning. We'll see what we can do. But most laptops come with cameras now. You can even take your test from an iPad. You cannot, however, take your test from a phone using Lockdown Browser. It has to be a larger device. Okay. All right. So if you've not ever taken online classes before because you're not sure if they're for you, one of the things you can do is take this Smarter Measure Readiness Assessment. Some of you may have already taken it, maybe like in an Education 1300 course, but this is just an assessment that checks your readiness in different areas, in your learning styles, your technical competency, and it just kind of survey, if you will, of different life factors that say, you know what, you struggle with time management, so you may want to work on this before you register for an online course, those kinds of things. It essentially just tells you maybe some things that you can work on so that you can be better prepared to take online courses. It's a really interesting assessment. You don't have to pay or anything like that. You simply log in with the username EPCC and the password student. You set up your profile and you can take this assessment. So if you've never done it before and you're curious about what your scores would be on this assessment, just click this link on this handbook and you can take that assessment. But I'm guessing some of you, if maybe not all of you, have already taken this before. Okay. Ally. So Ally is an application in Blackboard. You've probably seen it before. You see the little A next to some of your content with a downward arrow. This allows you to download Blackboard content in an alternative format, in another way that allows you to access it. You can download it as a PDF or as HTML. If we have an individual who is blind, they can download the syllabus, for example, into electronic braille. If you're someone who likes to learn by listening, you can download the notes into an MP3 file and it'll play it for you in an MP3 file. Or maybe you like to read as you listen, so you can hit play and listen to it as you're reading it. And yes, the immersive file, Ms. Heidenisker, is awesome. The immersive file allows you to change the font, make it bigger, make it smaller, change the background, all these kinds of things to help you learn the way you like to learn. If you like bigger text, then make it bigger. If you like smaller text, all those kinds of things. It even has a text to speech. So again, if you like to listen as you read, yes, absolutely, it translates too. And so if you like to listen as you read, just hit that play button. It'll read it out loud to you. You can change the voice to male or female. It'll read the pages out loud to you so you can learn better that way. I am someone who likes to listen as I read. That's why I like to read out loud to myself. So text to speech helps me. I'm an auditory kind of learner. So check out Ally. It's really, really cool. And again, it just helps you learn the way you like to learn, your learning preferences. Okay. All right, some of you might be taking a class that is a first day adoption class. I think this is awesome and we need to do more of this at EPCC. So in a first day adoption class, the cost of your book which is at a very big discounted rate, is included into the cost of your tuition. So let's say your book, typically you have to buy it for $80. Well, with first day adoption, the book comes out to $45, and you don't have to pay out of pocket. It'll be included in your tuition. So if you're getting financial aid, it'll pay for your book too. And the really cool thing about this is you're going to have access to that book on the very first day of class. You're not going to have to order it and then wait a week for it to get here. And then there's a storm somewhere, so FedEx is delayed, and now it's a week and a half and you still don't have your book. You don't have to deal with those things. You get access to your book immediately on day one by clicking on that Barnes & Noble link on that first day. Okay, so with first day adoption, you don't even have to order the book. It's going to be in your class for you. So you register for a first day adoption book course. How do you know? When you register, you look at the class details and where it says fees, and I know this is hard to see. I can make this bigger. There we go. See where it says fees right here? It'll say that the cost of the book is being added for you. Now, this is a very expensive book right here in the example I'm showing you because it's a nursing book. But like a history book might be like $45, things like that. And on the very first day of class, when you log into Blackboard, you just click right here, course materials, and I just snap my fingers, your book is immediately right there. You don't have to order it because technically when you registered for this class, you kind of already ordered the book. It'll be ready for you in your class on the first day. This is really exciting, and I'm hoping that more courses at EPCC go first day adoption. It saves you money in that it doesn't have to come out of your pocket. It's part of your tuition payment. You don't have to find that money right now. And again, you have access to it on the first day. Okay, so if you want more information about first day adoption, you can talk to Pat Rodriguez, who's in charge of the first day adoption at the EPCC bookstore, and there is her phone number. Or if you want to look for courses that have first day adoption, again, you can look at the description or the details for that course and look for the fees. Okay. All right. Let me make this a little smaller again. All right, so let's start to wrap this up a little bit here. So starting the semester off on a positive note is really important. And I know we're already 4 weeks into the semester, but keep this in mind, right? On the very first week of class, it's so important that you log into your Blackboard courses if they're online, or you show up to your course if it's a face-to-face or a hybrid, because that first week really sets the tone for the rest of your semester. Okay, so on the first week of class, show up to your classes, log into Blackboard, get that syllabus, read it. If you have questions, if something's not clear, reach out to your instructor. You have to ask those questions. If you don't ask, you're not going to get the answers, and you're just going to be left wondering, and you might do something incorrectly or the wrong way, whatever it happens to be. When in doubt, always ask your instructors, okay? Pay attention to the calendar. Look at the due dates so you can start scheduling your semester. Are you have 2 tests the same week, 2 research projects the same week? So you can start managing your time. Familiarize yourself with the course. How did the instructor organize my course? Is it in learning modules with folders inside? Okay. Purchase any materials right away that you need to. Don't wait. Purchase your materials because you want to have them as quickly as possible, especially if it's an 8-week or a 5-week class. There's no time to waste, right? Download that Blackboard app, complete any coursework that you have to that first week, and then start setting up that plan. Okay, my first week is done. I have a feeling for what this class is going to be like. Now what am I going to do the rest of the 7 weeks, 4 weeks, 15 weeks? How are you going to handle the rest of the week, right? So, the rest of the semester. So set a plan for success. Remember that online courses are not easier than face-to-face courses. For some students, they find online courses are harder because you're not on your own. I don't want to say that. Your instructor is there to facilitate the learning, but they're not standing in front of you every day or every week telling you what to do. It's all in the course. So you're going to have a lot of self-motivation in order to get yourself through that course, right? You cannot procrastinate. Do not procrastinate. I know that's one of the things we all do best, but you can't think about procrastination. So you need to show up to your online courses, okay? Show up to your online courses by signing in every day, looking for announcements, things that you need to do, check in every day. Hold yourself accountable. Set goals. Check in with yourself. Have a to-do list. Did I do what I needed to do? And if you need help, you need to ask. One of the biggest mistakes students make, and I'm telling you this as a teacher, I also teach here at EPCC. I teach history. And one of the biggest mistakes students make is not reaching out to me immediately when they're having trouble. A week or two goes by and I'm reaching out saying, what's going on? Are you okay? Well, I was having trouble. I was sick. My kid was sick. My mom was sick. I was in a car accident, whatever it happened to be. And I'm like, but why are you telling me now, 2 weeks later? I need to know almost immediately, right? I mean, of course, if you're in the hospital, I know you can't contact me, but we need to know immediately when something's happening so we can help you right then and there. Because then you're playing catch up much, much later. And it's really hard to do that. So the moment you start struggling with whatever it is, whether it's something personal at home or you just don't understand the content. I understand these textbooks, these college textbooks can be really hard to understand. These PhDs who use these really big words to say something really simple. I get it. But if you don't understand something in the book, in the notes, in the PowerPoint, reach out to your instructor. Believe me, your instructors love talking about their subject. They love talking about the art or the English or the math, the science, the history. We love talking about that stuff. And if you ask us questions, we're going to answer them. But you need to speak up, okay? Talk to your classmates. Form a study group. Now with all this technology we have, you don't have to meet at Starbucks. Just set up a virtual room somewhere. You can use WhatsApp or whatever applications we have out there. All of you have access to Teams. You can set up a virtual meeting and you can meet from anywhere using those virtual spaces. So there's lots of technology out there to help you do that. Manage your time wisely, right? Again, don't procrastinate. Don't wait to the last minute to submit assignments on Blackboard because you never know what might go wrong. Your internet goes out. Something happens, whatever it happens to be. So don't wait to the last minute. Set up a space where you can eliminate distractions. And I know this one can be hard to do sometimes. When we have brothers and sisters at home, or you like to work at the kitchen table and mom's too busy there cooking, whatever it happens to be, try to find a quiet space. Turn off the TV. I know you want to study with your headphones on, but believe me, you're listening to music, you're not paying attention to what you're reading. I speak from experience, right? All those things, a nice quiet space where you can study. Determine your learning preferences. Again, are you an auditory learner? Do you like to listen? Are you a visual learner? Do you learn better from videos? Make sure you understand your learning preferences so you can study in ways that help you and support those learning preferences. Okay? I've mentioned this already. Use your voice. Be an active participant. Engage with your course. By that I mean log into the course. Click on the materials your instructors are putting for you in the course. Watch the videos. Talk to your classmates. Participate in those discussion boards. Read the announcements. Use your email to reach out to your instructor. Use the office hours. Go to tutoring. Ask questions. Ask for help. And then, of course, make time for self-care. You have to take care of yourself too, right? Make sure you're eating, getting sleep. And I know it's hard to get off those phones on Instagram, all those things in the middle of the night. Put some kind of physical activity into your daily routine. Walk your dog, ride a bike. I don't know, do something, yoga to manage your stress. Like it says there, don't let your battery wear down because then you can't learn. Okay, and remember there are resources here at the college for you to do that. If you're struggling with food insecurity, the Tejano Mercado can help you. If you're struggling with stress or anxiety, or you need to talk to someone about something that's happening inside, we have counselors here at EPCC now that you can talk to, licensed counselors that you can make an appointment face to face or virtual so you can talk to people about the struggles you're dealing with. The help is here. You simply need to reach out. We're here to help you. Okay? All right, let me start to wrap this up. Make sure you behave yourself and are professional when communicating with your instructors through email, discussion boards. We have all these guidelines here for you in the handbook, virtual meetings. Also, proper manners and etiquette are important. Be careful with those kinds of things. Be a person of integrity. Don't cheat. If you cheat, you're not learning. Don't collude, don't cheat with other people, right? And be careful with plagiarism, especially now with AI. Be very careful. Your instructors can tell if you used AI to give an answer. And you're not learning if you're using AI. So be careful with all those things. It can have really bad consequences if you're caught cheating. So please be a person of integrity and avoid those negative practices. Remember, there's an EPCC student code of conduct. We all want to feel like we're in a safe place, in a safe space. So appropriate behavior, responsible use of EPCC technology. And again, as with everything, there are consequences to those things. Be careful with dropping from courses. There is a 6-drop rule in Texas, so be very careful with that. And again, make sure you understand the consequences of possibly dropping a course. They might have consequences that you don't realize to your GPA, to financial aid, all those kinds of things, okay? I mentioned the Blackboard Assist page. It's a great place for you to and get some links for helpful resources. This handbook is there. Our Respondus Lockdown Browser Guide is there. The link to tutoring, to counseling, the Tejano Mercado campus life, so you can get involved in activities at the college. They're all there. We've also made available to you this list of crash course study skills. They're really, really neat. And I just realized this page is out of order. But here are the links to those videos they're really short, really fun videos about how you can deal with your test anxiety, how to work on reading assignments, how to take good notes in the class, how to help you focus and concentrate. These are really, really helpful videos. This right here is really important, your course evaluations. Toward the end of the semester, whether it's an 8-week, a 5-week, a 16-week, you're going to get an email from the Institutional Research Department asking you to please complete your course evaluations. These are so important. Giving your honest feedback, the bad and the good. Your instructors also need to know what they're doing well so they can keep doing those things and maybe what they can do better. This feedback is so important because we as instructors, we as a college can only do better if we know where we're not doing well. So giving that feedback is important. Please, please complete your course evaluations at the end of the semester. They're so important, okay? Final grades, of course, come out in Banner, typically the Wednesday after the semester. So if the semester ended on Friday, by the following Wednesday, your final grades are in Banner. If your instructor gives you an incomplete and allows you extra time to finish the coursework, it only happens if the instructor fills out some paperwork. So some paperwork has to be filled out. And of course, keep that momentum towards your degree, towards your certificate, whatever it is you're working toward here at EPCC. Keep that momentum by registering for the next semester. We would love for all of you to register for full time, right? 4 to 5 classes a semester. But some of you are working or have other responsibilities. Great. 1, 2 classes a semester, even better. But don't stop coming. Keep registering. Keep that momentum towards your future. Because the reality is, the more you learn, the more you earn. That is a truth. I can speak to that. I can attest to that myself. And lastly, I want to cover this page here. It's really important that you know where to go when you need help. As I mentioned, distance learning, even though we deal with technology, we're not IT. We only help with Blackboard, Respondus Lockdown Browser, Collaborate, Smarter Measure, and UJA. All the other technologies at the college, like your email, your login, web banner, Microsoft, laptops, those kinds of things, those are all through the IT department. If you're experiencing these kinds of issues on the far right, like with coursework, there's no instructions, directions, you missed a deadline, something's not opening in your course, always check with your instructor first. And again, if you're a dual credit student, you're having issues with your device that was checked out to you, make sure you talk to your high school IT department or your district IT department so they can fix those issues for you. Okay? And again, distance learning has a virtual office Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. If you're having problems with your Blackboard, come and see us through our virtual office so we can have you share your screen so we can see. We can see exactly what the issue is and we can help you better that way. Okay? Any questions? Let me check the chat. I hope I didn't go through that too quickly. Questions about Blackboard, about distance learning, about Respondus Lockdown Browser. You can turn on your mic or you can post it in the chat.
Okay, so if anybody has any questions, I mean, at any time, even during the presentations, you can definitely turn on your mic, or you can, put it into the chat, and then we'll either tell the presenter or the presenter will see it themselves. But I mean, for now, I mean, thank you so much, Ms. Cadena, for your wonderful presentation. Again, if anybody has any questions, even throughout this little part, feel free to use the chat box or your mic. We do want to thank everybody for being a wonderful audience and for coming in. And please remember that these sessions are recorded. So if you would like to review or share anything from this presentation, those recorded sessions can help. And we have shared the Tejano Passport link so that everyone can receive their points for coming in today. I'll share it in case anybody has missed the link. Okay, and then Ms. Cadena, you shared your information?
Yes, if you all have any questions, please email us at DLSS. You can also call us at 831-3111. I'll put that also. And we're here to answer your questions and to support you. Our goal is your success. And we want you all to be successful, and we're here to help you do that. So I thank you for your attention and for all your hard work. Everyone take care and be safe out there.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Ms. Cadena. And then, we'll just share the flyer for next week. So we'll be back next week at 11 a.m. with Happy Math Hour in the same room, where Math 1314 will cover synthetic division and complex numbers, and Math 1324 will cover solving exponential and logarithmic equations. And our 1 p.m. session next week will be a presentation on mental health anxiety by the Mental Health Committee. We hope to see you all again for Tejano virtual events, and we hope everyone has a restful weekend. Thank you again for coming in, and we hope to see you soon.